All right, okay. Monster Feet Part 2. I know that many of you know my history and who I am, and the purpose of this is just to kind of summarize my journey to this point. I'm not going to go too in depth because I don't want to go too long. The purpose of these videos are it's not to go into this long drawn out thing. So let's keep this quick. And if anyone has any deeper questions, further questions, be happy to answer them in the comments, or you can contact me directly. My sorry, looking at my my site here, and it got me distracted. However, okay, so that's where we're at. Let's go back to the year. Wow, had to have been right around the beginning of the millennium, 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. I was the ripe young age of about 13, turning 14. It was December. I was a freshman in high school. I had just finished up my freshman year of football, and I was I was training with the wrestling team, not actually on the wrestling team, but I had attended a few practices with them. Wouldn't recommend it. It is mucho hard. But I had tried out for the basketball team. I don't know if you know this, but you should be probably at least 6'1" to play basketball, and I am far from that. So quite an anomaly there. Turns out the basketball coach who had selected me for the team ended up being my football coach later on, and he liked me. So maybe there was something there. I don't know, but very interesting for a young freshman, Rob. Also, on top of that, I was deeply involved in my youth group, and I had also been cast as the lead role in the winter play through my high school, Coronado, as Ebenezer Scrooge. Got a little Scrooge in me, whether you know it or not. However, in December, I was experiencing weird symptoms. I was losing weight. I was urinating multiple times a day, unreal amounts of pee coming out on the daily. And I got to throw my dad under the bus here on this one. Sorry, Pops, but he told me to stick it out and to toughen up. He was throwing around terms, again, sorry, Pops, but like chemo kid and cancer kid and things like that. And I didn't like that, so I toughed it out for about 2 weeks. I lost a lot of weight and a lot of color, and I gotta say, I know that he ate his words, and he was very apologetic, and definitely took that one to heart. And I know that he's made his peace with it, and I don't care. It was never really an issue for me. It isn't now, so I do not want you, Dad, to take this to heart at all. I'm just giving the real facts here. But I watched my dad's dad essentially deteriorate from not taking care of himself and from complications with diabetes. He died very young from complications of type 1 diabetes. when this was happening to me, these symptoms, I think that my dad was there throughout his father dying, and had to deal with all of that. And I think that maybe he put it out of his mind and said, this can't be happening again. This can't be happening to my son. And lo and behold, it was. So, 13 turning 14 years old, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Obviously, I wasn't able to compete in basketball, and I missed weeks of school, and had to learn everything that it took to be an adolescent with juvenile type 1 diabetes. I wasn't able to be Scrooge. So in fact, I took a different route, and I took the positive route, and the I can beat this. I got this route, and ultimately I overcame. We overcame as a team, and I ended up playing varsity football, was a captain, excelled in that, and ultimately went on to continue to play football and play sports um, and excel. That is a brief synopsis of my health experience there. Up until that point, was not really a sick individual. I didn't have much experience as a patient. Every time that I had been in the hospital, it was for something like, stitches, or a black eye, or just some normal, regular growing boy stuff. So that was quite a shocker. And I ended up having to live out the rest of high school with that on my back. Um, later was I later experienced kind of shame, and wanting to hide my condition. And I remember I was dating a girl for a short amount of time, and our first real complication in the short-lived relationship was the fact that I hid the fact that I had diabetes from her for the first 2 weeks or so. And that was not a good way to handle it. I was also 18, 19, and like I said, that relationship did not last long at all. And I will take that with me as a learning experience. It does make me a unique individual, weaker than someone without diabetes, but it doesn't make it a shameful thing. And that's one thing that I had to learn early on. And it still comes back in splashes, and shows itself every once in a while. And I am on a different level with the kidney thing. So I do want to encourage anyone who's experiencing anything like that, whether it be diabetes or kidneys or anything, just to live it out, let it live, and breathe, and be what it is, and own it. I'm not going to act like I have that part mastered, but I feel it, and it feels better when you own it. I am a fan of literature, and I will say that there is a kind of famous name that Winston Churchill gave his depression. He called it his black dog, and I I knew about that early on and didn't quite vibe with it and didn't understand, and now I'm totally feeling the black dog. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, whether I know the person or I'm talking to a stranger or I'm at work or whatever, I have the black dog hanging over me in the back of my mind, and not so back of my mind, knowing that I have this disease in my kidneys and condition with type 1 diabetes. And it's always there. It's never going away. Even after, God willing, I get my transplant and get new guts, I will still have a health risk. I will still be on suppressants the rest of my life, and I will always have, maybe not to that extreme, a black dog, but maybe it's a golden retriever, who knows. Hopefully it's a cute puppy, but I will always have, the point is, there will be things there. And so in my experience, what I have noticed to help, even if you're a private person like myself, is to talk about it. Talk about it with someone who's experiencing it or doesn't. But either way, don't conceal it. Just get it out. Whether it's, Winston Churchill was depression. For me, it's diabetes and kidney disease. For others, it can be who knows what, but just get it out, talk about it. Talk to me if you need to. Talk to anyone you feel comfortable with, or talk to a stranger at a bus stop. Whatever it is, I just encourage you to find the strength to talk about it. Okay? That's it for tonight. Part 2, Monster Feet. I love you guys. I love, love, love each and every one of you. And until next time, let's go.